Greetings everybody, this is Serpentine451 and welcome back to another episode of Weeb Warriors. Well, this is a late episode and whatnot because, well, got my tattoo technically yesterday since I'm recording this on the 19th. And it made me sleep for a good long while. I was very tired. But other than that, I will just continue with the reviews for this week here. Starting with Nekopara. Another solid episode where basically Coconut and Azuki are the focus, with their usual fights getting to such an extent where it becomes a competition, kind of like a relay race, to see which side will beat the other. It was mostly that part of it was mostly the whole episode, and it was over Coconut misunderstanding what Azuki was trying to do for her as the big sister of the cat girls, looking out for her little sisters. And that's usually how Azuki and Coconut interact in the visual novels, and that kind of makes sense regardless. And the end of episode art for this week was spectacular. I love it. So next up we have My Hero Academia Season 4, where we focus on the students going to the school, planning for the school festival, where Class 1A, even though they're the hero course, they still have to contribute to the festival itself. And our crew slowly come up with a live show. On top of that, we have Deku and Togata trying to cheer up Eri when they go to visit her at the hospital by suggesting that she comes to the festival to see if she can smile for the first time in a long while. Next up, we have Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun. We have the finale of the Battler Party arc, and Iruma goes up a rank by receiving an added-on award called the Tricky Award, when all other battlers receive the three main prizes. This ended up making him more popular and made him terrified. And we also get to see interactions between Imari, Iruma, and her father, which were ultimately very funny, because Amari's father realized that Iruma is a human, and Amari did not realize that, well, she knows that he's human, but she's trying to play off that he's a good demon. Still all very fun, very funny stuff. Even the bits where Amari's father is shocked to hear Amari talk about love and whatnot, when she told him that she and Iruma discussed those type of things. And that left him in like a catatonic state, which was ultimately hilarious. And now let's get to the shows that were added in. Let's start with Inspector. Episode 6, they still formulate a plan to beat Steel Lady Nanase, and they ultimately come up with an idea where they have to implement a truth that sounds so believable it's bordering on the fantastical. It reads like a good story. And they also had to investigate the place where she died and talk to a ghost who was a witness to that whole situation. But at the end of the episode, we have a death. The detective that Saki was working with at the police department ultimately went to the spirit and met his untimely demise. Next week's episode is going to be focusing primarily on the repercussions on that and how it will be difficult for them to defeat her now since she's killed someone. And that's pretty much it. Then we go to Bufuri, which we have our crew obtaining a guild house after Kaide, or Maple, takes a break for 3 days from the game, where they enlist the help of Kanade, Kuramaru, and Kasumi to join their guild, and they also are introduced and induct the girls Yui and Mei, who maxed out their strength stat to the point where they can break shit by touching it. And that's just good comedy gold. This show is spot on with its humor, and I love it so much. Now let's go to... Pardon me. Yeah, that's it. I decided after much deliberation that Plunderer is just so middle of the road that I will not review it anymore. And that's the tea there. So, I will say, for just the discussion, I've come across a lot of interesting stuff when it comes to my years watching anime. I think I've talked about this topic before, much to my recollection, anyway. But I know for sure that there have been shows that fell within my expectations and exceeded my expectations. I know I definitely talked about this with Jordan in the past. But since there are no controversies and whatnot, I decided to just talk about a lot more interesting and a more fun and interesting topic. I'd say that the best and most comedic things you can look at, and it's the most perfect thing to look at, is, well, how most adaptations work so well. And with said adaptations, we have the archetypal Thought Slayer, which is mostly in most harem and romance genres, mostly in the harem genre. We have the Thought Slayer. And sometimes Thought Slayers are they kind of work in most circles, but there are some random Thought Slayer moments in comedy shows and whatnot. And that's the beautiful thing. If you want to check out any videos with compilations of Thought Slayers in the most funny routines, go ahead. They're easily found on YouTube. But one of my favorite Thought Slayers is Iruma-kun from Aho Girl. This man knocks out dumb bitches like nobody's business. It's amazing. Jake hates the show because of how dumb it is. Jordan and I love it because of how dumb it is. But still, I will say, Iruma-kun, good Thought Slayer. But that is it for this week's episode. It's on the short side. Jordan couldn't make it this week, and so I had to do the reviews of my own. And with some shows kind of falling on the wayside, it is easy for them to, well, for all intents and purposes, get dusted. But I will end this episode here. Catch you guys next week.